And we're back.
Back.
Well, back to the Cavalry, everybody.
Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing.
Dude, when we say we have parallel lives, we mean we have parallel lives. Johnny gets COVID. Andrew gets COVID.
That's right. We
Now,
didn't even open mouth kiss.
yeah, maybe you gave it to me through the Zoom somehow.
Yeah, it could be.
I was talking to Heidi and I should say I got, now this is also BS because who would have thought that being on a cruise ship for 2 weeks would expose you to COVID-19? I mean, no one ever said that.
Right.
Wasn't there some guidance at some point that that's a way that you could transmit COVID? No one said anything about that.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
thought that the cruise ships were supposed to be the safest places.
I literally got tested myself in the airport on the way home just to make sure before I got on the plane. And sure enough, I was positive. So I had to turn around and get an airport hotel and cancel the flight. And I've been quarantining ever since. So.
And you're still in the hotel.
I'm in I got a rental car and drove back to Portland. And now I'm in a Portland airport hotel until Heidi can go up to my parents. And then
well, that's good.
I won't have to, then I can go to the house. But yeah, it's a big
contaminate it up.
Yeah, and then I'll contaminate it up really good. No, I'm gonna test after this. I'm hoping I'll be negative. We're gonna see. I have my fingers crossed. But folks, be safe.
We should do a test live on the wax.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do it. No, we'll save that for post-show banner. If I'm
our Patreon is going to skyrocket.
Yeah. I think what if we should be like the last people who are like I get COVID now and I'm telling everyone, hey guys, take it serious. Be safe. Wear a mask up. Like literally no one cares. That's what's so funny. It's like I called the airline and I was like, hey, because I had already checked my bag. I got to the airport super early because I was hoping to get on a really early flight. No. And then all of a sudden I started feeling shitty and I was like, I should just test because I'd feel bad getting on a plane if I had it, And
you had a test in your carry-on?
Yeah, I always have a test on me. I test all the time, And so I tested in my bag and I was immediately positive. It was like comically fast.
That's how mine was too. Right when it touched, it was like
bing. Yeah. You're like, oh fuck, okay. And so, because the other times when I've been negative, I'm always holding the test strip up to the light and looking, because they're like, even if it's the faintest little line, you're still positive. Yep. But so I could just leave because I'm like, well, I shouldn't, because I was like, should I go get my bag? Because I checked the bag, but I was like, I shouldn't go have a customer service interaction with someone right now. That seems irresponsible too. So I just got out of the airport and I got a hotel. And but then I called and I was like, hey, can you pull my bag? Like, I'll come pick it up later or whatever. But I tested positive and I got out of there. And then they called me back. They're like, I don't know. And then they're like, yeah, you'll have to come pick it up here in Seattle. I was like, right now? And they're like, yeah.
Or else what?
Yeah, I know. And I was like, well, I told you I'm positive for COVID. Do you want me to come pick it up? And they're like, did anyone tell you not to fly? And I was like, well, no. I thought that was like understood. They're like, well, if no one told you not to fly, then then you need to come pick up. Like she's like using like legalese jujitsu to talk.
Yeah.
No, my point is nobody cares. They were basically saying, you idiot, why didn't you just fly? We don't give a shit about this anymore. Right. Yeah, I guess we all pretend, but like nobody cares. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting or something, but I was told if you actively have COVID-19, you probably shouldn't fly on an airplane. But
right.
Here we are. So, but I'm feeling better. So it was pretty mild, all things considered.
Oh, good.
And you didn't even have symptoms though, right?
I didn't. No, I didn't have nothing. I mean, I was tired, but I'm always tired. I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have headaches or anything. Neither did the older kids. Phoebe had like, a fever one day. Um, but yeah, Aaron got hit the worst.
Yeah. So be safe, everybody. Mask.
Yeah, this is no joke, folks. No,
No joke.
mask up.
Uh, really, what it is now, I know that it's killed like 15 million people worldwide, but really what it is it like it's a plan ruiner.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a very high inconvenience.
I mean, other than the millions and millions of people it's killed around the globe and the people suffering from long-term debilitating illness, other than that, it's just a real plan ruiner.
It's a real annoying thing.
Really annoying thing to have to shuffle my schedule around.
Ugh.
Anyway,
we will survive.
We will survive. How was your weekend?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember what I did. Oh, we went out for couples dinner with the neighborhood people, and let me tell you this: it was because like we did one of those pools. I think it was the NCAA one. I don't even remember.
Before you tell me what you did, that sentence to get you to sound enthusiastic about couples dinner, it sounded like you were starting an old rusty outboard motor on a little boat, like a lake boat, and it was like you're pulling on the cord, like, oh, couples dinner. We went out for a nice couples dinner. All of your energy to make yourself be excited about couples dinner.
Well, that's because I was trying to think of what we were doing. I'm like, I know I was in town. No, but we had so the couple that planned this NCAA bracket and the winner, okay, the winner, we all go out to dinner. The winner picks dinner and doesn't have to pay for dinner. Well, the organizing couple won.
Yeah, fucking ringers.
Of course, but that's all right. They're good people, and so we did it, and it was fun. It was nice to be.
What was the damage? Out. Did they hurt you, or did they like let you go to like Culver's or something?
No, you know what was great? This is why it was great, because we all got separate bills. They got their own bill, and then we each just Venmoed them like $10 or whatever. So we didn't have to deal with splitting up their bill. I paid for me and Aaron. Plus gave them, I think it was only $10 because it's $10 per person, and Aaron is the only person that didn't participate in the thing. So everyone else had to pay 20, but I only had to pay 10 because my wife didn't play.
Wait, I don't understand. So you didn't have to buy dinner; you just owed them $10.
Well, that was it. They use all that money to buy their dinner. That's the as opposed to splitting up their bill and figuring it out. We all just Venmoed them $10 because it was probably roughly the same cost anyway.
Well, it seems thrilling. Where did okay? But you had fun.
It was fun.
Yeah,
very fun.
Well, great.
Yeah,
good.
So tell me about this cruise. Tell me about the cruise.
Boy, well, we went to beautiful Alaska. We saw. This was all before I got COVID.
Did you see Aurora Borealis?
No, I don't.
Isn't that like the best place to see it?
I guess. I don't think we go far enough north.
Oh, okay.
When you look at the map, it's really funny because it's not even where the cruise ship goes. It isn't even like the part of Alaska you think about, like the big, huge.
It's just like under it, right?
A little peninsula thing. Basically, like we just like punked Canada out of like their shoreline for a few 100 miles. And we're like, no, that's Alaska. And then they have everything just on the inside of the coast of that. I'm not sure how that happened. I'd love to read a book about it one day. But
not me.
Not oh, I want to talk about that too. I finished that Pioneer book. But it's beautiful. People should really go. It's funny. It is ironic going to see glaciers that are rapidly shrinking in a giant carbon cruise ship that's just wasting gas and energy and people eating prime rib. Just like there's nothing, everything says like we're contributing to climate change as you're staring at a glacier that's
right.
shrinking before your eyes. And the funniest part of the whole thing is that it's only cruise where people are actively disappointed that it's not colder. So like all these idiots pack their like giant parkas and
Right.
long johns and flannel underwear and all this shit, and then they get off and they're like sweating their ass off because it's like 66 degrees outside and sunny, you know.
And they're like, I thought we were gonna build igloos.
Like, where's the ice? Where's the dog sleds?
Right.
Which I think they do a tour like that, but it's just of like the dog sled training, like where they sleep. And so you just see like dogs run around and go, hey, here's the dog. And when it's colder here and snowy, he would be pulling this sled. Right now, of course, it's June, so
Right now he's taking a dump on grass.
I think he would be pulling a sled here.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was weird being back out there. It's too long, you know. It's two weeks straight. And then now I'm quarantining, so it's like extra torture.
That wasn't your first one back, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Since ours?
Since COVID, yeah. Was ours the one the COVID started?
Oh yeah. We got off what, March 8th, 2020? Yeah, we were like making jokes about, all right, keep your mouth shut. I don't want to get stuck on this boat.
Yeah, it's first one since then. And you know.
Huh.
Yeah. So and I it's funny
riding a bike, huh?
Yeah, like riding a bike. It was weird because I literally listened because I was kind of freaked out about material. I was like, oh man, you got to have all this old material ready to go because you have to do these different shows. Yeah. And then I listened to some an old album of mine. I actually downloaded it on the plane.
Bought it?
Yeah, I had to pay for it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll get 3.5% of that, so I might as well pony up. No, I have Apple Music. I get it for free. But I did download it and I listened to it, and part of me was like, oh, this is half bad, you know? Yeah, that's pretty hard.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. But then I tried to do some of the material, and it was like I was copying myself. Like I couldn't get back in. I think it's been so long because of the pandemic. I had no reason to do old material, so it's literally been like 3.5 years since probably since I was on that cruise with you, since I told. Yeah. I couldn't find it. I just couldn't get back into it. So I either just did, like, when I needed more stuff, I'd do crowd work or try new stuff. But I couldn't. Every time I tried to do old stuff, it just bombed. It felt like they knew I was faking it or something.
Oh, that's so weird. Was it like within the same show, like you did, new material and you'd be fine, but then go in the old stuff and it was just like.
Well, I was trying to divvy it up weird, or like do one show where it's like, okay, I'll just fill it out with a couple old jokes in the middle or something, and then that would always go south. And so, but overall, the shows were pretty fun. I gotta say, like, the crowds on there aren't bad. It's just I don't know. It's a lot of shows, and by the end, it's like you feel pretty sick of your jokes. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. Did some hiking. I was pretty active, healthy. I was running, and so it sucks to get COVID because I was taking my vitamin D. I was taking my airborne. I was trying to be like as healthy as possible.
There's no escaping it.
There's no escaping it.
That's what I tried to do. I slept in the basement.
Yeah.
Stayed in the basement.
No.
Didn't work.
Everyone's going to die.
That's right.
It's funny that it is funny to think, I didn't think about that, but the last cruise we were on was literally when COVID started. And then the next cruise I do, I get COVID. I mean, that's kind of hilarious. hadn't put that together. It took 3.5 years. I mean, it got more too, but.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah. But you wanted to, so I told you about that book. It's so funny because.
Which one? Ulysses?
No, I didn't. I couldn't.
You just give up on that one?
Totally gave up. Ulysses, it was a total give up. You can't.
You're talking about the history book that you read.
I defy anyone out here listening to this podcast. Go read Ulysses, and you tell me See if you can make heads or tails of it. I try to, but I read this other book about the the pioneers.
Yeah.
They go to Ohio.
How many pages was that?
It wasn't bad. It was like 300 or something. Okay. And it's pretty dry, you know. Learned some stuff about the pioneer.
Do you recall what you learned?
Sure. Yeah, I do actually. Manasseh Cutler started the Ohio company, and they went down the Ohio River. It's going to be boring. I shouldn't even tell you, but it's just hilarious because of. This kind of relates to the COVID stuff too, but like they would literally go, like they would start on their trip. They would leave from like Boston and then have to get to Ohio, right? Yeah. And then get there, and they'd go, yeah, you know, it took like 4 months and 3 of our kids died, but we made it, and now we're here. And then everyone accepted you would have your like you had like 18 kids, and you're like, yeah, because like around 30 or 40% of them are gonna die. And that's just everyone like thought like that. And it wasn't even that remarkable to them.
It was just the norm.
And you'd had to move on. You got to go plow. You got to go chop down some trees, you know. It was a crazy time.
And is that a historical fiction, or is that just true?
No, it's true. There really were pioneers.
So, well, I know that.
There really is in Ohio, Johnny. There's an Ohio River. There were Indians.
But you're making up this Boston place, right?
No. Yeah.
See, but how interesting is that? How bad is my brain? You read this. I don't even remember what you just said. The Manasseh what?
Oh, there's a guy named Manasseh Cutler. And he was like in charge at the beginning.
See, when I read and I'm not talking about like.
And I just finished this, by the way, like 3 days ago. So.
Okay, that doesn't matter. You remember that I had read the day before. We had this conversation about comedy.
Watched the show 3 days earlier.
Right. That was less than 3 days. That was like 2 days before. But anyways, for reading, like I can't, and not even Game of Thrones types books where it's like ridiculous, stupid characters. I'm talking like, you know, regular idiot book. I can't keep characters straight. And I just assume, well, when I get further in, it'll just kind of click. And sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes that happens to me where they'll introduce somebody and they'll introduce somebody else, and then they'll jumble the names. Then it'll be like, and then Johnson said to Gordon, and you're like, wait, which one's Johnson and which one's Gordon? And then I do the same thing. I go, to hell with it. I'll figure it out from context eventually.
Right.
You know? So I do that too. And like, sometimes you do. Sometimes it works out. And you do eventually. You just have to push through the part, you know.
Sometimes it doesn't, but you still say, hey, I read that book.
And you did read it. Even if you don't know what happened, I don't think there's any quiz. If you read the book, my question for you, though, is like when you're reading something and it immediately vacates your brain. So like, it's like your brain is like a colander, you know?
Sure.
You're like, knowledge about Culver's Points and the best hot dogs is the pasta, but anything else about fat is just water. So the pasta remains, but the water seeps. Right. Do you get this analogy? Have I explained it well enough?
Yeah, I'm way ahead of you.
Okay. So my question is, though, are you interested in what you're reading? Like, is it captivating you? Like, are you enjoying it?
That's the thing. Yes. Like my example that I had, 2 weeks ago was I'm reading about the history of comedy. I'm very interested. And as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. I'm so interesting. Literally the next day, that topic gets brought up. And all I could offer was, hey, I knew that yesterday and it was interesting. Well, you knew what? I don't remember. But I knew it.
Hey, I knew that yesterday is hilarious. That should be the name of your next album. Hey, I knew that yesterday.
I can't talk about it now because I'm just as knowledgeable as you, but I did know it.
I knew that yesterday. Yes. So, but you are interested by it. It's just it doesn't
Yeah.
get, your brain says we don't have room for that.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll be diagnosed as something. Everyone's getting diagnosed as whatever these days. Maybe I have something like that, but I'm not, I don't buy, well, I made it this far. That's not going to
Oh,
change
so you're
anything.
saying if someone were to label you as with some sort of learning disability, you would
Yeah.
kind of
I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, but I'm not
but
going to.
yeah, you're very
I'm not gonna lean on it like, oh well, that explains a lot. Now I can just be the guy that has this dumb, that it
yeah.
has this excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. You're owning your own uh deficiencies.
Right, right.
Good
But I
old,
am putting it out there that it is a possibility.
but no, but yeah, oh, you get the best of both worlds. You're hinting at that you might be disabled.
Right. But probably not. I just have a lazy, dumb brain.
Entering in the Special Olympics, but then going, but I don't think I have anything. But just in case, I'm gonna run in this heat.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
Yep.
oh, by the way, my whole scooter versus wheelchair theory, I've never been more convinced I'm right.
Oh,
And
I'm sure every time you're on a cruise, it just reinforces your confidence in it.
I literally had I overheard a lady complaining about her feet and too much walking. And she's like, next time I'm going to get a scooter. And I was just dying to turn around. It's like, just get a chair, get a wheelchair. They'll push you around in a wheelchair and people think you earned it. People think you've earned it with some sort of disease or injury.
It's a good thing you bit your tongue
You know,
because you don't want the cruise director. Hey, Andrew, can you come to my office? Are you suggesting to passengers that they pretend to be handicapped?
yeah. It's a horrible story, but one time my brother did that at Disneyland because we were in line and these people cut us. We were waiting in line 2 hours for Splash Mountain. This was before the days of, now they have these like bullshit.
Yeah.
You pay
Fast
more.
pass.
Fast pass. Fast pass is free, I guess. That's complicated. And then like you can literally pay more, I think, at Universal Studios and just skip the line. It's all.
You have to like take a course to figure out how to manipulate the system in Disney now. They like offer classes.
Well, one time, this is back before all that, and we were waiting in line, and this two people cut us in line, just come through the exit side and just like go right up to the front. We're like, whoa, what's up? And they said, oh no, my sister has asthma. And we're like, what? Oh, she has asthma. She can't wait in line. We're like, well, how did you figure that out? It's like, I have asthma, sure, I have asthma. You have asthma? Yeah, I got asthma too, And finally,
the asthma line.
they said if you go to like Main Street, there's like an office in Disneyland on like the fake Main Street, but there's an actual, that is where they keep like some of their offices.
Yeah.
You go to this office and you tell them you have a problem. You get this little card and you can cut all the lines. So my brother went in and said he had like a limp or I don't know, a basketball hip injury or something. And we cut all the lines at Disneyland that day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty horrible. It's morally, it's not even questionable. It's just morally wrong, but it was fun.
Really covered your bases too there.
Is that's the new owning up to your mistakes. Look, it was wrong, but I'm glad I did it and it made it more fun.
And I do it again.
We took advantage of a system designed to help people less fortunate, and I'm happy that we did. But I'm saying that was a bad thing to do.
Right. I don't want this to get me kicked off SNL in 5 years.
Yeah, what if that's what got you kicked off SNL? Oh, that would be a good. That's fine. If I'm in, and I'll take that. 5 years from now, getting kicked off of SNL for this story coming to light, I'll take that as a career arc.
Yeah,
I'll sign up for that right now.
Ooh. Oh, I had a pre-discussion point that I wanted to bring up. I heard on the radio. Now I don't know. You're not a music guy, but you're familiar with You know, there's some songs that like the hit, like they came out and they're a hit, but the recording of it is in front of a live audience. You know what I'm talking about? Like, what was the one I wrote down?
Wait, the song is a hit, but it's the hit version.
Yeah, that song. You know that song, "I Want You to Want Me." I think it's Peter Frampton or something, where it's like, "I want
You're
you."
right. That is with a live audience on the track.
Yeah, you hear that. Maybe I'm just an idiot and don't know, and maybe it was a hit before, but like the version that you hear on the radio that they play is
Yeah, I
this
can't
audience
imagine
going nuts when he starts it.
I
How
can't.
did they know? Why did they go nuts if it wasn't a hit yet? Right?
It has to be that it was a. So it's two answers. Either A, it was already a hit. There's some other version, but then this latest version
Was the
became
one that just
more
took over the
popular
airwaves?
and
Okay.
has now taken over the airwaves. Or they are so contrived that they were like, this song would just sound cool with screaming fans at the beginning of it. And that was part of the, which is calling your shot in such a way. But I guess if you're a rock star, it doesn't seem that out of character. So,
Right. And how many B-sides are there that they recorded that way that just never became hits, but they're not embarrassed because no one hears it?
well, it's like the sitcom that's not funny and never made it, but has the huge laugh track.
Right.
It's like you watch it now and it's like people are like exploding at, at Reba or whatever.
Reba. Now that's comedy.
Reba actually lasted. I think Reba was like, had 4 or 5 years out of it. But yeah, that's an interesting point. Are there any?
Think of another example? I know there's other ones.
Yeah,
but I can't think of them.
I certainly can't.
Anyway, just something I thought was interesting.
That's very interesting.
Thank you.
Someone should talk about that on a podcast.
Okay, here, this. Can I get started? Can I do my first one? Are you good?
Do you need back into it? No. Get into it. Let's get into it.
All right, so this is what I need backup on because it's based on things that are interesting but that aren't. I think that social media has rewired our brains to think that everything is interesting and needs to be not just posted on social media because that's like cliche, everyone knows that, but like this happened today. So I'm sitting in the house and a big bug flew into the window's closed, but a big bug flew into the window and like crashed into the glass.
Yeah.
And I started texting Erin to tell her that. And I stopped and I was like, what? Why do I think anyone would give a shit about that? That's not a story. That's not an interesting thing. A bug hit a window. And I'm about to tell my wife, oh my God, babe, this really big bug just flew into the window. And I was like, why? What is wrong with me? Why am I? And I think that's what it's from. I think it's from social media.
Social media. That impulse.
That impulse to, something that just doesn't happen every second of every day happened. Everyone needs to hear about this.
Well, there is at least that sweet that it's like your instinct was to text your wife, though, and your first instinct wasn't like, I should live stream this. Right. Let me go live. Hear from the Beaner household. Look, did you see this bug? So that's actually more redeeming, I think. But still, I think you're right. I think there's something now with like it's with stand-up too. Like it used to be you could like your ego and your self-worth could cruise for weeks if you had like one really good set in a hot club and you crush, and then everyone comes up and says, hey, oh man, you were so funny. But now, unless it was like recorded and then later also put on,
it goes viral as a recording,
and it means nothing. It's like lost all meaning to just be in the room and be funny in person. It's like it needs to be reproduced and pushed out to the masses.
Yeah.
Or at least recorded, and then you can send it to somebody and hopefully that'll lead to something. Or you know, it's like, it's never enough. It's never enough. And I think it's like when you have like a sick hotel room and you're by yourself, you know, it's like, you can't just go, oh my God, this is amazing. Look at this view. You have to immediately get your phone out or call your friends or FaceTime, because it's worthless to just have it be for you and just enjoy it in the moment, you know?
Yeah, it's like you can't enjoy it unless you could show it to someone that does not have it.
Right.
Right?
Right. Yeah. It's like, I guess, and that's probably why I wonder if, like, you know, because they say money isn't equal happiness, and like sometimes rich people are very miserable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now it's less so. Maybe now money does equal happiness because you can always then show that. Like if you were like Rockefeller, right?
Yeah.
You know, you had a fancy house and martinis and beautiful dinners and trips and everything you'd want to do. But if you're lonely, you couldn't rub that in anybody's face, you know. But Jeff Bezos, when he goes to space or whatever, and he can like selfie himself as he's like rocketing past his ex-wife's house, you know, look at me now, you know, and that will go out to millions of people. Maybe that makes him happy.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. But I agree with you that social media has changed the way that we validate
our
any
brains work.
experience. It's hard to just have an experience and go, wow, you know?
Yeah.
Because everything just has to be used for everything now. Like if something happens, you're like, oh, I can talk about that on the podcast. Or how many times do we talk to each other and we're like, oh, let's save that for the podcast. We can't even be actual friends. Because if we ever have a good story, it's like, oh fuck, I can't tell Johnny that.
We wasted it on each other.
On a human interaction.
Ah, shit.
So, but are you saying that that's like, you're lamenting that, right? Like, let's get to not texting our wives about bugs flying into the window.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am saying it's a negative. And I think, I mean, for me, like, you know, everyone always does the, oh, I'm getting off social media. Here's my big announcement. And then they never leave. But like, I think that myself and a lot of comedians, like, we use the excuse, yeah, I would do that, but it's for my career. I have to be on for my career. So that's why I scroll for 2 hours on the toilet every day. It's for my career.
That is so true. And I would love, I'm never going to quit comedy, and I love it too much. And, you know, I'm too stubborn anyway. Yeah. But I would love to test that theory, because I've said that myself. I'm like, oh,
what? Test the theory of what? To get off social media?
Yes, to test the theory of, let's just say they passed a law that I could no longer be a comedian or something.
Yeah.
You know, which is, they are debating that in Congress. It's being held up right now, luckily. But
that's because they heard your story about Disney.
Yeah. But let's just say, and I would love to test that and see if I actually did delete my social media. I would like to think that I would.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, most of the time I spend on there is not me furthering my career. It's time sucking, you know,
right?
Because it's so good at it. You go on there to just post something and get off, but like, it's so good at grabbing your attention, you. And then the next thing you know, you look up. You know which ones are the absolute? You're talking about the bug thing. What? I've started seeing these videos where they're like, a day in the life, or my life. Here's my budget for 1 week. What I spend in 1 week as a 26-year-old living in Chicago. And then they're like, rent is this much, and then groceries are this much. And then you're waiting for this big. I watch it, and I'm waiting for this big like reveal, or something's going to be like, $1,000, you know. And then at the end, it's like, and my gym membership is $22. So that's a total of, you know, $3,467. And that's what it costs to live. Well, what the fuck did I watch that for? But then you watched it. It's too late. You know, and like in comedy, you're trained to like wait for punchline. You know, you're waiting for the payoff. Yep. And you sit there, you watch these videos, you're always waiting for the payoff, and there's never a payoff. But then,
anytime I watch any video just like that, where I realize that I'm waiting, I get out. But I don't realize it until they've got me.
that might have been a topic before. I can't remember, but the wait for it trend, where it's like,
Oh,
wait, wait till the end. It's like, no.
oh yeah. If they tell me to, I'm out. I'm gone.
If you're listening to this, if anyone ever tells you to wait for the end, get out right now. You're
They
gonna be
don't care about you. They just want that view count to go up, and it will.
yes.
That's
So
I saw. There's a big. Do you ever see those ones of like people that like they're like, this guy's got a 7-foot vertical, and they show him jumping up, but it's because they did it in reverse. It's just a reverse video of them jumping down backwards, and people in the comments are like, bullshit. Everyone's doing that. It's a reverse video, fake. And then the creator will comment, yeah, I know, but look at my count. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll keep reposting if they keep watching. I was like, yeah.
there is no shame in the social media world. Like that gets used for like because sometimes people steal jokes a lot, you know. And obviously, I think we've even given up as far as like policing that. But like some in the old days, you would call someone out. You're like, hey, this is just somebody else, so and so's joke, you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I got more likes.
Right.
There's no shame in. I don't even think like originality is a consideration.
Yeah.
It's pure economics of like social media hearts, you know. It's
Who
pretty
was that guy that like got famous for just stealing shit, like the fat
oh,
Jew or something like
fat
that? Is
Jew.
that
Yeah.
fat Jew?
And he would steal everything and then same thing. He'd use that. He's like, well, I have more followers, I'm more famous, you know, and that's all that mattered. And then I think there was some negotiation where he started putting he would literally just screen grab it.
Uh-huh.
He wouldn't even take the time to type it out himself. He would just screen grab it and crop out your name and just
Yep.
put his. They call him a not a compiler, but a aggregator. It's like, oh, I'm an aggregator.
Or just collect other people's funny things and put it out in one convenient.
What the fuck does that mean? That's a thief.
Yeah, it's a thief.
You know, you should aggregate. That's what like a cat burglar is like. No, I just aggregate gold watches from other people's houses.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Yeah, social media is pretty dark place. We should all quit, and no one can, and that's a bad sign. You know,
Yeah.
that's like the worst. That tells you right there it's a drug. You know.
Well, that's another backup topic that I had like way up that I never get to because it's stupid. But like I have a topic of like why doesn't someone just copy Facebook or just exactly Facebook, but get rid of all the the shit that people hate and that and
Well,
just say, well, this is just that. Can enough people get over there and be like, look, we're not gonna.
I think that's like that's funny you say that because like that's what Facebook does to anyone who starts. So like what Facebook does is like they copy whatever you're doing if it's successful, and then they just integrate it so quickly that they steal all of your people, and then your thing can't get off the ground. You know,
Yeah.
And the stuff people say they hate. It's so funny because like all I hear about the complaints are always like, oh, it's putting stuff in my feed of people I don't follow, you know. But what they figured out is that's what keeps you on the toilet for 2 hours because they like these algorithms are so crazy. They drill into your brain and they know like what you want to see, you know. And so they're like putting basketball clips and Charles Barkley things in my feed, and I don't follow any of this stuff, you know. But then it's like, oh, that was funny, you know. It's like, here's this Norm Macdonald interview or whatever, and then you're like, oh, here I go again, and I'm on. So you get trapped.
Yeah, if they didn't do that, no one's gonna sit on the toilet staring at videos of their nephew for 2 hours.
That's why it's great. You gotta you follow your boring friends. You're like, oh wow, somebody's niece graduated. Okay, that's a nice picture, and then you're out of there.
Right.
It was a much simpler time.
Yeah.
Instagram in 2013.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people try to copy it, and then but like the
Like,
whole,
what is it about Facebook that everyone complains about? Besides,
I think like the fake news, the ads, and then like how divisive it is or something, I guess. And but to me, the real like currency of like what a social media company has is users. It's just like there's so, where do you want to be? Like as a comedian, where would you want to be? You want to be where the most people are,
yeah,
because you're just trying to get your shit out there, you know? So it's hard to start one because you're starting from nothing.
yeah.
And Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, they can just copy whatever you try to do anyway. And
But
so,
that's what I mean. Like, it was just Facebook and Twitter, and then Instagram started, and then TikTok started, and now they're all.
well, and like Snapchat, but then like, but they, so you like, I think Snapchat was, Instagram stories was like a ripoff of Snapchat. Then Instagram Reels was a ripoff of TikTok. And then Facebook bought Instagram. So
Uh-huh.
the way Facebook stays relevant is just like quickly incorporating whatever is popular,
Yeah.
you know. But
We're becoming quite the social media episode.
I know, but it's amazing how much it dominates everybody's life.
I
You know,
know.
it's become a real world with like real world consequences, and like
Yeah.
there's like propaganda wars on there, and then different countries. China owns TikTok, and then that's there's censorship and all this stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But
Well,
hey,
you sounds like you backed me up from my topic.
oh yeah, I'm backing you up. I forget what it was.
Yeah, me too. All right, what do you need back up on?
Social media. We should just do it.
Huh?
Let's just get off of there.
How many times do you tell yourself, you know what? I'll just post from my fan page. I won't have a personal.
It's
I
like
do it
shit.
all the time, and then it just doesn't stick.
I know. What if we just got off of there? See, you need to be rich enough to just pay somebody to do it all for you and just post shit for you, and then you don't even have it.
Yeah,
That's
all you have to do is text it to them, and then they post it. You
Yeah.
don't even have to see it.
And then they start tweeting like racist stuff, and you get
Right.
canceled because your social media guy happens to be a racist.
Right.
I didn't hire him because he was a racist. I knew he was a racist, but I just thought he does such a good job and he'll keep his politics out of it.
Right.
Sure enough, he starts
It's
spouting.
seeped into my account.
Okay, I got a simple one.
Okay.
I did a little hiking in Alaska. Got my hike, went on a
Got
couple.
off the boat. Okay.
There was one funny thing. So I went hiking, and I went longer. There's like there's one stop where everybody goes, all the tourists, and then you could keep going to like the next destination. There's like Lower Dewey Lake, and then there's like an Upper Dewey Lake. So I'm gonna go to the upper part, And I'm hiking. It's like, God, this is farther than I thought. I'm really going. It's rough terrain. I'm like, damn, but it's gonna be really rewarding when I get to the top, And I'm working and I'm hiking, and I got my. And a couple times I thought about turning back. I was like, no, I want to get to like some destination. And I get up there, but I hear music. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And I get up there, and there's a little lake, and there's a big group of Filipino dudes playing a boombox and smoking. And like here I was like struggling, thinking this was like the hardest hike I did. They got there, the fucking blowing smoke, you know. Like, oh, I guess I have to. So I kept going because it was like, now I gotta like earn something here. So
Got to go further than the chain
but
smoke.
here's my hiking. This is what I need back about hiking, because this happened to me a couple times. I feel like it's a little condescending when you're going up a hike and there's people coming down, and then they tell you, "Don't worry, you're almost there." Like, what is it about me or my face that tells you I'm worried about how much longer this is going? And maybe I am worried about it, but like, let someone ask you. You don't have to volunteer that and assume that this person's laboring so hard that they need to be, encouraged to know that the destination is almost there.
Yeah, they're just basically implying, hey, don't worry, you fat tub of shit. You don't have to do this much more. I know you hate it.
I
Huh?
know you're regretting everything you've ever done in life that's led you to this point, but you can do it. If I did it, and it's always like some old lady with a cane. I can do it. You can do it. I know I can do it. I wasn't gonna quit.
Every time I see someone walking with a cane, I think of Ahmed because wasn't that one of his topics like 2 years ago?
Yeah, the hiking poles.
I walked by someone and I was so regret. This is like such a regret. Is I wanted to have like my wife. I wanted to give my wife my phone, have her videotape me walking up to this total stranger that looks nothing like him, and be like, "Hey, Ahmed, Ahmed, Ahmed," and then when they turn around, be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else," because they had a cane, and then just text it to you and him. It was too late when I thought of it, and I was like, "Ah, oh, that would have been great."
The other thing about hiking is like they say it's really good for you, but like anybody, I don't know about it. It is nice. I just enjoy it. It's if it's good exercise, that's great. Bonus, right?
Yeah.
But very, it's not like you go hiking. You're like, oh, a lot of hotties out today. It's always people who. It's not like always the body type you're looking to emulate. Like if you go to, I don't know, some workout class or something, or Pilates, I'm sure there's like a lot more oh, look at the people who are good at this are all hot. Hiking is not that way.
Yeah.
A lot of,
Yeah. They all have their weird nerd hats on
yeah,
and
a lot
their
of
water bottle backpacks.
not hot people seem to be good at hiking. So I don't know if it's like the fitness regimen if you're trying to get hot.
Yeah, and so like hiking, I mean,
Oh,
I
here
don't know.
comes,
I
here
never
comes,
got into
here
hiking.
comes
What?
Prefontaine telling everybody that hiking's not hard.
No, I'm not saying. I'm asking because I don't do it much. I mean, I when I went and visited my brother Ben in Seattle, we hiked Mount Rainier. Is that right? Mount Rainier.
That's the big one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did go. We just went to one of the things, but that's like that's pretty intense,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's the tallest.
Sometimes people like in California, like, oh, we went for a hike. They went for a walk. I
Yeah.
mean, isn't that what a hike is? You're going for a walk.
There's a huge I guess that's the point. Is there's like a giant variance. Like if you run 5 miles, you run 5 miles. Now there might be harder 5 mile runs because of the elevation or if you're running uphill at certain parts of it. But it's still like impressive to me at any level or any speed is if you run 5 whole miles, that's a lot. That's a lot to me. But if you say you went on a hike, that could mean so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's just like nice trails,
Yeah.
and if it has any elevation at all, you can call it a hike. But other times, like at Runyon Canyon in LA, did you ever do Runyon?
Probably. I got dragged to so many hikes. I'm sure I did.
Yeah. What was the
What's the one by the observatory?
No, that's Griffith.
Okay, well I did that one. I know that. Did that one a couple
But
times.
but even at those places, there's different versions. Like there's easy versions of those, and then there's really hard versions. So
I never did a challenging, super hard one.
yeah. Well, I've done them all.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
We used to hike.
The runner and the hiker.
I was a hiker. I was a good in LA. I used to hike. We used to do me and Brant Tobler. We used to do Runyon twice a day, and we get all
really.
We go to Chipotle, and we sit on the couch. That's why our apartment stunk like shit.
You would go twice a day.
We went twice a day. Yeah, 2 days. Runyon 2 days. We'd walk from the apartment all the way up, then do Runyon. Do the once in the morning, once in the afternoon. We didn't have shit going on.
How long does it take to do that?
It takes like hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah, so you like do it, and then you come down, hang out for an hour and a half, and then do it again?
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
We didn't have much to hang our hat on back then. A lot. We probably should have been a little busier uh, pushing our careers forward, but that's
No.
what we did instead. So there you go.
Well, there you go.
Me up though. Don't be condescending on hikes. Just let
Yeah.
people enjoy it. If they
Let
ask,
the person going up make the joke. Let the person going up being like, "Hey, am I almost there?"
it's actually funny. It's an opportunity for you to be funny though. If someone was like, "Hey, just so you know, you're not even close. The peak is so much farther."
Yeah, you're not even halfway. You want me to walk you back to your car now?
You're not even halfway there. That's funny. Now that would make me laugh if someone said that to me. Try that next time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy.
Try that, our listeners. All right. So while we wrap up,
Okay,
um,
we have comments.
I'm going to look for them. I
Oh,
don't think I have anything new to plug. I have that.
I have something. I have something.
Okay.
Um, this is from Kyle McClure. Shout out Kyle, super fan, great guy, and he has an update to the ladder story.
Okay.
Should I just do it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He gives us some compliments, and then he says, "By the way, the ladder that was at the garage sale actually, we should update this. If you weren't listening previous week, Kyle sold a ladder at the garage sale of his neighbor, but it wasn't for sale. The neighbor was just bringing it, but they were late, so they didn't have time to tell him that the
Yeah,
ladder
they
was."
were going to use the ladder to hang their clothes, their hangers on
He sold their good ladder, and they were very
for
upset.
$10.
$10. So, oh, by the way, the ladder that was at the garage sale actually belonged to the school that my sister-in-law worked at. She was borrowing it for the sale. So he sold the school's ladder.
Oh.
Apparently, somewhere written on the side of the ladder, it said Springdale Elementary, room 112. Okay, now, Kyle, we were backing you up before, but now this is evidence against you.
Yeah.
My wife was the
Funny addendum. It was labeled clearly. Huh.
My wife was the first to get the news about the ladder being sold, and when I told her about it, she gasped and threw her hand over her mouth. That was an indicator to me that it was probably not for sale. Then my father-in-law thought I was joking and didn't believe it at first. Then after my sister-in-law came over to the sale, walking up with her Starbucks cup, that's when it got awkward. And then my father-in-law felt bad and drove to Lowe's and bought her another ladder.
Aw.
But at least we had $10 towards the purchase of the.
I'm curious how much the new ladder was.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle, if you're listening to this, tell us how much the new ladder was. Anyway.
All right, so I did find one. We'll do it. This could be super quick.
Okay.
I'm not going to read the whole thing. I think I have read it, and it's very complimentary to Andrew and myself. If you want to read it, you can read it when you're leaving your 5-star review, folks. But it's Carrie Mahoney, and she said what she needs backup on is that food tastes better when someone else makes it. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's funny because I had a contrary take during the pandemic, which was like all takeout food is trash.
I
But
don't know if she was she talking about. I mean, my head goes right to, oh yeah, Burger King is definitely better than anything I'll make. But I think she means like, oh, someone cooked this for you.
oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think I'm like a pretty good cook though. But I guess it is what is the implication that it's just like because it's nice that someone cooked for you, so like there's extra good feeling to it.
I don't know. There's no context. I made dinner tonight. Erin's at graduation, and I made. Well, she told me what to make, but I made homemade mac and cheese. So she had like a huge bowl of shredded cheese that she shredded. I mean, this was like 10 cups of finely shredded mozzarella, one of the white cheeses, something else. And so I made this recipe Which, by the way, there was a recipe. She forwarded me the recipe. It was like 9 paragraphs about this lady. Oh my gosh, my sister got me this new cooker, and I was like, are you kidding? Give me a break. I'm swiping. And it was pretty good, but it was very soupy. It was very soupy. I think I did something wrong.
No, that's how it's probably supposed to be. But it sounds like your wife did all the hard work. The shredding.
She did the hard work, but I put it together and cooked it and mixed it.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah, to make mac and cheese.
Well, I guess that's it.
That's it. Good. Well, we got post-show banter coming up for our Patreon, and it's gonna be a humdinger. What were we gonna talk about? I forgot. Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing the
COVID test.
COVID test.
See if I can break out of quarantine. I'm still gonna, take a day or two more, but sure. I'm going straight to the buffet after this. So nice. Look out, old country. Thanks everybody for listening. Leave a 5-star review, leave a comment. Kyle and Carrie are carrying the load.
Yes.
The rest of you need to get involved.
Step it up.
Patreon for post-show banner, and I'll be in Savannah. If anybody's listening, Savannah, Asheville, or South Carolina. This weekend? Now I'm confused. Yeah, this weekend. When you're listening to this.
Right.
So come on out to that.
There you go. Check Andrew's schedule just to be sure it didn't already
happen. I might be delirious right now, but go ahead.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening to
The Cavalry.
The Cavalry.